have never met anyone that has developed the power of no like this woman. And she makes you laugh and appreciate it when she does it. She will tell you to F off out of her house when she's ready, and you willingly go and laugh all the way home because it's just done with such great honesty. I've talked about it before where I'll ring her and I'll say, do you want to go with me to blah, blah, shopping or XYZ? She just couldn't think of anything worse.
Look, we're not here to sell you transformation. We're here to share some truths. Because this stage of life can sneak up on you in the best possible way.
There's a new quiet swagger that comes with it. One you earn simply by being you. We'll walk with you. You don't have to be anywhere else. Turns out it's good here. And sometimes it's even great.
Younger you wanted freedom from rules, scarcity, other people's voices, the script you were handed. The real freedom now is freedom to. The freedom to choose differently, to say no, to leave the room, to change your mind, to want less. We've spent decades trying to become free, right? Turns out we might actually already be. The question is what we do with it now.
That's it. And freedom from, that can be freedom from saying yes when you want to say no, freedom from self-judgment, and the freedom to recognize your thoughts aren't always facts. So today, we're not asking, how do I get free? We're asking, now that you can choose freedom, what do you actually choose? I think the reason we wanted to open with that is because there's obvious freedom, like maybe financial freedom or, freedom from work. Those aren't realities for a lot of people, regardless of your age. Certainly, we know that. And the freedom that we wanted to focus on is the freedom that actually is yours to choose in most circumstances. And I think it's some of the most important freedoms because it relies a lot on you and your internal world, not your external. And I love this idea that when you were younger, you were looking for freedom from things. Yeah. I don't want rules and I don't want to be told what to do and I don't want this and I want to live my life this way. And then later on you realize it's freedom to do things, to choose who you spend your time with, when you say no, when you say yes. Freedom to choose. I think that's a really cool way of looking at it.
It is. And it ultimately comes back to your mindset, how you see the world, how you see your life and the people in it and how you find your place in it, I think, too. And we do change a lot as we get older. You brought up Liz Gilbert the other day.
Yes.
And she has something going on Substack, doesn't she?
She does. And I think just to remind everyone, Liz Gilbert wrote Eat, Pray, Love, the super famous book that became an exceptionally popular movie.
Yeah.
And I guess even that back then, we're going to talk about Liz now, which is many years on from Eat, Pray, Love. But even what that was about was she left her husband, she left her great job and her great life and her home and her social life to go explore herself and feel that freedom in finding who she really was. And she wasn't happy with herself. So Liz has kind of always been about that, but she's gone to a whole new level on that now. And she's had some huge experiences since then, which are probably arguably bigger than Eat, Pray, Love, and that was pretty big.
There's a whole channel called Substack that's growing massively for authors to share their wisdom and ideas. She shares something on there called Letters from Love and talks a lot about sort of key themes for personal freedom. And that's what struck us. I know we're looking at what we might talk about in this episode. And she has a few themes specifically that stood out in her Letters from Love. One of them, which is replacing self-loathing with affection. That's big.
Yeah, and and it so speaks to the freedoms we wanted to cover, not the obvious freedoms like we said before, like financial freedom, because I think the meanest thing we could possibly do to ourselves is self-loathing, and we so easily do it.
A lot of us call it like the inner bitch, whatever voice that is inside of your head that says mean things about yourself to yourself, right?
You can't stop it happening, but you can certainly catch it and reframe it. And I think that's
That's the key.
So important.
Catch it. I was
Catch
told
it.
from, I don't even remember who, but somebody said to me, probably one of the speakers I worked with was like, there's a moment like where that voice mouths off at you and you're like, okay, thanks for that. Now moving on.
Yeah. Like return to center,
Yeah.
not receiving this mail.
Something else Liz talks about in one of her themes too, that is abandoning the need for external permission. This is a big one. I want to pause on this for a minute because literally not so long ago, like probably a month ago, I was reminded of this like massively. So I speak and I teach a lot. And I was particularly in a room this time. I was teaching at one of the classes I do at the university. And the room was very corporate, shall we say, very government, very corporate, very like kind of not giving me much. And I am a very enthusiastic presenter.
Yeah, but that's what makes you great.
Thank
and
you.
No, it does. You're very engaging to watch. But it's really important. I always ask you when you've had a speaking gig, what was the audience like? Because I know, because you feed off that. And the more that they engage with you, the more you can help them, the more you can give them. And I don't think they realize that. Like it's a give and take energy.
No, I appreciate I appreciate that. And that I left that day thinking, oh my God, I was too much. I was too much because I got so passionate. So I have a business coach, Adam, and I was talking to Adam. I don't even know if you know that. I only talk to him once a month. And he really called me up on this one. He's like, you're full on looking for external permission right now. He's like, you're looking for that room to say, you were great. He's like, what if you flip it around and you go, you know you're great. You know your experience. You know how you have wisdom. And he's like, what if you thought of it like this? Your superpower is your intense enthusiasm and passion.
Yes.
And it helped me a lot, Elliot. It's like, wow.
But he's so right.
Yeah.
He's so right. And see how quickly you doubted yourself. Guys, I used to, and I still do sometimes now, I used to hire Heather as a speaker for social media for my beauty shows like 10, 15 plus years ago. And the reason I did was twofold. One, obviously she knew her stuff, but that wasn't the reason. I just love the way she presented, the way she was really easy to follow, the way she says things, you want to listen, you don't nod off. And that is a real skill because you can know all the facts and figures and research in the world. But if you can keep an audience awake, that's where the power is. So I know that you're good.
Thank you.
And that was 15 years ago. So you're obviously even better now. But that relates to when you're sitting down with friends or people or any situation where you're with a human.
Yeah.
And just because they're not vibing with what you're saying or who you are doesn't mean you should go change yourself.
That's right. And that's why you need
and
to
get
stop.
that external permission.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It was huge. It was a huge one for me. And now I'm just out there going, yeah, my superpower is enthusiasm.
It is. I know you. So it's not even just someone telling you something to make you feel better. And I know that most of us do this to ourselves. So you're not alone in all situations.
So guys, I want you to tell me your one of your many superpowers, Ellie, too. But you guys listening, think about that. Honestly, what's your superpower? What do you like? Yeah, I have this amazing quirk or this thing that's in me. And are you ever feeling judged externally about it? And maybe it's time to stop it. But what's yours, Ellie? What do you think because this is a hard,
you did not tell me.
I know. And I'm pulling it on you for a reason because it's hard for us to kind of sometimes, some of us to think about the positives of ourselves.
I'm going to say something I know that you say about me, which I don't want to say I guess is true, right? But and you can help me because you're really good at articulating it. 'Cause of course, I don't want to talk about myself in that way. But I'm really good at bringing people together and maybe bringing out the best in them and just making people want to be the best version of themselves, not from a, oh, you're not good enough perspective, but from a, hey, I want you to be happier perspective. And if I can find a way to share something with you that you see in yourself, that joy and that value in yourself, whatever that is, whatever you need in that moment, I feel like I'm good at reading that and helping people find joy or find their value or just want to make them feel part of a group and part of something. I feel like I can galvanize people that way together and individually.
If Ellie were an archetype, she'd be a muse. Absolutely. No, you are. Totally. So here is to your freedom, guys, to live in your gifts. Honestly, not to sound cliche, but it's so important not to look for that external permission. And another part of what Liz says, and there's someone else we want to talk about in a minute, is stop editing your life. Or I should say the other way around, edit your life to only fit the people in your life that are good for you, that you want in your life.
Yeah.
Very valid. Yeah, I love that. I want to change gears a little bit to another incredible person out there named Tara Brach, who's a world-renowned clinical psychologist. She's an author, she's a mindfulness teacher, and she's big on sort of the freedom mindset space as well. I think it's important that we just kind of go through these points with you guys because there's going to be one or two that probably heavily resonate with you. So she talks about basically response over reaction, that true freedom is the pause between a trigger and your reaction, allowing you to choose how to respond. And this is really like simple to understand, but you're really good at this, Ellie. You've always, what did you call the 5-second rule? You're like, before I buy something or want to do something.
Yeah.
Tell me more.
You can use it anywhere. And I want to talk about someone else that is very big after on response over reaction.
Yeah.
But yes, in relation to something like not emotional, if I want to buy something, which let's be honest, as we're learning is often like clothes and things like that. It's like you're in the shop and it's got this pull on you. I have to put just a coffee between me and that item at the minimum. Look, if you can wait overnight or whatever, but if you put a coffee between you and it, or lunch, or a walk, or call a friend, anything to create a pause, it's unlikely unless you really love it, and that's different. You kind of go, oh, I'm over it. I'm good.
That's freedom mindset.
Yeah.
Though, honestly.
And and that's just a fun way of describing it,
Yeah.
but it's the same in situations when people annoy you, when you're about to say something you shouldn't say. I'll just digress and we'll come back to Tara because while we're on this responsive reaction, one of my favorite quotes in the world that I actually have come up on my phone once a week to remind me is by someone very well known called Viktor Frankl. Okay. And he survived the Holocaust. It's an incredible story, as there are many like his. And he wrote a book that has sold millions. In fact, I think over 16 million copies, and it's called Man's Search for Meaning. It's incredible, but he has this quote that's been attributed to him that is, between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom. And like that's where it is. In our response is our freedom. And basically he also goes on to explain it, that everything can be taken from you but one thing, and that's the last of the human freedoms, to choose your attitude in any given set of circumstances. And I have it pop on my phone like automatically once a week because I forget all the time. And it's just this pause, like Tara says, between a trigger. If you just pause, what you then do is often so different to what you're going to do if you don't give yourself at least a couple of deep breaths, or the coffee between a purchase, or walk away from an email before you send something fiery that you're going to regret, that's just unnecessary and isn't going to help the situation. So that's the kind of freedom Heather and I are really interested in. And I think as you get older, that just becomes so important, that old adage, don't sweat the small stuff. But not because you're letting someone off the hook.
Yeah.
You're letting yourself off the hook. That nasty pasty is not living rent-free in your head, driving the bus over a cliff every 5 seconds. That's the freedom we're really interested in. So I just wanted to, that Victor quote is just so powerful. And the fact that he lived through something and the way he lived through it was choosing his attitude is how, and there's many others. There's Dr. Edith Eger, who I also have read her books. She talks about the same thing, that she had to choose to wake up every day and endure that. And who did she have to be to live? It's really powerful.
Kind of case in point that no matter, I suppose, where you are in your life right now and the situation that you're in, there are moments of choice. No matter how bad it is.
Exactly. And, obviously we're mostly talking about day-to-day little annoyances. But then when you look at the Viktor Frankl or the Edith Eger examples, those people lived through unimaginable hell. And they chose this path as well.
I think an easy place to start, if you're sitting here going, either you're totally on board with us and you're like, yeah, I'm living like this, or maybe you're thinking, I still feel very attached to external permission, and I am mean to myself and self-talk. I think a good place to start is perhaps using the word no more, looking at your boundaries, right? And that's something that Tara also mentions, and she calls it the brave no, because when you say no to your mean thoughts or people in your life you don't want in your life, you're saying yes to living your own life the way you want it to be. So I think that revisiting your boundaries, you guys, and I know certainly as you get older, we're always talking about, becomes a little bit easier. I mean, I can't even remember what I always say, but it's like I kind of feel like I'm in this era of I don't give a fuck.
Not so many pucks to give. Okay.
That.
But I like what she calls it, the brave no,
Yeah.
because at first it is brave to say no. And it's because you're just so used to appeasing, or it's easier to say yes. But I do have a little trick, kind of like my coffee between a purchase. I think I've told you this one, Heather, that if you're too afraid to say no in the moment, you've got to have sentences ready that you can just give to someone. So that's like, that sounds like an interesting opportunity. Let me get back to you.
Yeah.
Just something, because it is hard. It can be hard face to face in that moment to go, no, I'm not going to do that with you. By the way, gay, I think we've touched on this and we will hear more and more. I have never met anyone that has developed the power of no like this woman. And she makes you laugh and appreciate it when she does it. She will tell you to F off out of her house when she's ready, and you willingly go and laugh all the way home because it's just done with such great honesty. There's no malice, and you know where you stand. I've talked about it before where I'll ring her and I'll say, do you want to go with me to blah, blah, shopping or XYZ? She just couldn't think of anything worse. And the fact is, once upon a time when I was younger, if someone said that to me, I'd probably get all sooky. But she, you know how she means it. She's consistent with her no. And it's just so nice to know someone's not doing something they don't really want to do. Honestly, guys, at this point, at any age, it is so nice that you're doing something with someone and they're happy to be there. I just think that's so much better. And Gay, mate, she is I don't know if I've ever will meet anyone better at it, and I definitely want to get better and be like her.
Next up, we've chosen a clip from Peter Crone, who's known as the Mind Architect, and he is going to tell us a little bit about freedom mindset.
This is where we share voices worth listening to on today's topic. Good to know. Up next.
I always say the first bucket is awareness, meaning to be aware of the fact that you have been acting as a victim. Victim's a strong word, so I don't in any way want to dismiss the things that people go through, but I'm talking about a particular perspective. So if someone's looking through the lens of something is happening to them or that they are at the effect of life, then that's what I'm calling a victim mindset. People can go, oh, hang on a minute, maybe, just maybe, I'm not pissed off because my dad said this or my boss did that or my wife da-da. That will bring them some relief. You know, once we notice, I'm not feeling what I'm feeling because of my circumstance, but rather because of the way I'm relating to them. That starts to then give the person a feeling of empowerment and choice. I can choose between being a victim of circumstances or being the generator and the cause of my own experience. Then the next stage is really practicing being that person who's no longer confined by the previous narrative. But if you share that with people, not only is it inspiring for them because usually they can relate, but then they can kind of hold you to account to a certain degree to the new way of relating to yourself, right? So that's why it's beautiful in relationships to share the things that we're realizing about ourselves so that somebody else can be there as a teammate in our new perspective.
Next up, we hand things over to someone younger to decode a trend, a slang word, or something we've missed. All right, let's get the cool kids to explain.
Hi guys, this is Chiara. I'm 25 years old. I'm pastry chef and traveler as well. I've been asked today to talk about freedom and why it's important for me. I feel like it's very important because it basically gives you the chance to live your own life. I feel like people from all ages should experiment their own freedom. It's very important because if not, it can make you feel disconnected from yourself. It can make you feel like trapped in someone that you don't want to be. For me, freedom, it's also directly connected with courage. And I'm saying this because we might experiment ourselves in situations that make us feel like we are safe, but not happy maybe. I feel like it's an invitation to go out of the cage that you put yourself And just allow yourself to make mistakes, to experiment more, or simply to say no to things that you don't feel right anymore. My advice from all people is to start creating a life that feels the ones that it's for you. You don't have to wait approval from anyone, and I recommend to do not be afraid to start again. And personally, I would like to remind that freedom doesn't need to be in very big decisions, and it's not always talking about money. I feel like it can be, for example, create healthy relationships. It can be also starting to get more confidence with yourself, even stop saying yes when you really want to say no. At the end of the day, I feel like freedom is one of the most powerful tools that you can have, because it gives you the chance to truly experiment your life, not just live and exist.
Every episode, we pause for wisdom from someone who's been through it and learned a thing or two. Here's a word from the wise.
I not only feel free, I feel that I've come to be myself, not only again, but a new way as well, right? Because I haven't been free. I've always had marriages, relationships continually. I really haven't been on my own till now, till the last 4 years. And so I learnt to be me again. I was sort of me with him always, but it does affect you. But without him, I'm definitely more me. We'd have a dinner party and he's the raconteur, right? And I'd be trying to say something and he'd be like, kick me under the table or something. Shh, be quiet. So that's relationships, right? Okay? The companion has an effect on you, right? Doesn't matter how you are, I think. And I'm thinking now, does that make me someone who's suppressed? But I don't think I've ever been suppressed in my life. I really don't. And I think he was good with me, really. Could have been a lot worse. Well, he put up with it really well. I'm talking about my husband, by the way. Yes, the love of my life. But I do feel like I'm myself again, fully. Yeah, I mean, that's part of growing older anyway. A lot of my friends say, we won't put up with this, so we don't have to put up with things, right? We just, the freedom to say no. We were talking about that before, and I do say no. No. Fucking no. I don't want to do that. That's a freedom, that is a real freedom. But I hear that a lot from older people anyway. Right? They say, I don't care what people think. I don't care anymore. I just do what I want to do. And if they don't like it, then their expectations, they have to deal with it themselves. And I even say that to my friends now. Somebody who wanted me to come and visit for a holiday. And I said, well, I don't really want to do that. So I said that to her, right? She took it. She was fine. She would have done the same. She really would have done the same. But it wasn't because I didn't want to go. I didn't see her, I just didn't want to do it. It's too much effort, too far away, too much bother, not the right time, all of that. That's freedom, I think, just not caring what people think. To a degree, we don't hurt them, no. You don't want to hurt anybody. I try not to hurt anybody. I think that's big, I don't think I do hurt people. People aren't focused on you. Basically, they're not thinking about you. They're thinking about themselves most of the time. So take that inference off for a start, right? Then you can be yourself. Because I know that other people do it. I don't do it anymore. I haven't done it for many years. Project my view onto them, right, of what they're thinking. You can't do that. You'll never know. It's like walking past somebody on the walk there and they don't say hello. Well, their husband might be in ICU, or they could have a sick child, or, going through divorce. So never project that and take it personally, right? Then that comes down to not worrying about what people think about you. And so life's short.
So if you've been waiting for permission to choose yourself, here it is, you guys. The freedom was always yours. We're just the reminder.
And if today's episode hit, send it to the friend you know is sitting on a yes when she probably needs to say no.
Next week, we have anxiety. Well, we're talking about anxiety. We've got the science, the tools, and Gay's one-line philosophy that costs nothing. Turns out something good might be closer than you think.